this minute. Let's take a deep breath in and let it out. And maybe another breath in and out. And come into this very moment now. This is what we have. All of living and all of life happens in this very moment now. It happens as we listen to the talk out in the lobby. It happens as the sun shines. It happens as the snow melts. It happens as I often think when I see waterfalls in nature, that water continues to fall long after I leave and fell long before I even came upon it. All of life happens in this moment as all of life happens. Breathing in and breathing out. Let us know that to the depth of our soul. Let us feel what it feels like to be totally present and at ease, feeling the divine itself between each breath. For that we are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Can everybody hear me okay? This is new technology for me, so, okay, good. And you know how there's that saying that if you're in front of people and you're nervous, you should picture them naked? I'm hoping we don't have a reverse situation because my dress started to unravel just before the service, so we're going to try to keep it on. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Paula and the Spiritual Soul Center, for inviting me to be here, and for everyone, all of these beautiful faces that are here today. For that, I am grateful. And as you may know, and as Paula mentioned, Thich Nhat Hanh left his physical body this weekend. And so I just wanted to take a moment knowing that master teacher is here with us always and leading us. And so I'd invite you at this time to just close your eyes and just begin to take a few deep breaths. And as you inhale, begin to hear in your mind, breathing in, I calm body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I calm body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is the only moment. And we give gratitude for Thich Nhat Hanh's words and for his presence and his teachings. Aho. Amen. And when Paula first reached out to me about speaking, I was filled with so many emotions all at once. Excitement, joy, humility. But it only took about 2 seconds, maybe not even 2 seconds, for me to reach a place of fear and resistance. I wanted to say no. Because of what I think I know or believe about myself. And I heard the usual voices in my head telling me, you can't possibly get up and speak in front of people about spiritual matter. You'll get nervous, your hands will shake, you won't have anything to say, much less can you feel the entire time of a talk during a service. And to say something of significance. And so on and so forth. Those games and tricks our minds play on us. But I still said yes. I took a deep breath first, and then I said yes. And And I said yes because of my awareness of truth. And as the universe works in the way that it does, around the same time I was introduced to a song by Holy River called No, K-N-O-W, /No, N-O. And it begins with this almost hypnotic, harmonious flip between the two words, no and no. And the chorus goes something like this. I am not myself, I am myself. I know. I see myself, I blind myself. I know. I have a self, there is no self. Do I know? So I was intrigued by this dichotomy of being awake to our true nature, while at the same time being drowsily entwined in the daily grind of this existence, and how that concept could be encapsulated into two words that sound exactly the same. These are just the little things I ponder over my morning coffee. Why not? So then I started thinking more about the words themselves. No, K-N-O-W, and no, N-O. And are they really different in that meaning, in their meaning? Merriam-Webster defines no as to have information of some kind in your mind, essentially to create a belief. And no as an act or instance of refusing or denying, or as I like to now call them, attachment and resistance. So in definition, different, but in application, maybe not so much. When we say no, we are often in a place of resistance. And this may be the appropriate place to be, as often our no's are just as powerful as our yeses, especially when we are listening to our bodies and tapping into our divine intuition to come from a place of empowerment to set healthy boundaries. But oftentimes, at least I know this is true for me, that no comes from a place of fear, a place of insecurity or lack. So take a moment to tap into a time when you said no to something. What did that feel like in your body? Were you posturing in a protective manner, clenching your muscles, closing off your heart? I can tell you when I was afraid of saying yes to this opportunity, and very much like right now in this moment, my heart was racing, my hands were sweating, my stomach was clenched, but I still said yes. And what do we do when we think we know something or someone? Do we not then put on our blinders, seek information or action that validates our knowing? We go around, we tell our story, we gather our little soldiers who agree with what it is that we think we know, strengthening our state of resistance, creating that wall of separation, manifesting them and us, where we can no longer hear or see Christ consciousness in others, and we can even separate ourselves from our own divine intuition and our divine nature as well. How many times have we misinterpreted a person or a situation based on what we thought we knew? How much energy have we expended arguing a belief system? What's right, what's wrong, what's on the left, what's on the right? And what does that feel like in your body? That holding on to an idea or an expected behavior from another. I've had a long relationship. Not you, honey, it's okay, don't worry. I mean, we have had a long relationship, but this is not about you. This is more about a working relationship of someone who I created a lot of frustration for me. I had this whole story about how this person had to have gotten up every day just to make my life more difficult, to push my buttons, to trigger me, to be high maintenance and passive aggressive. I had all of these things made up in my head. And the thought that this person clearly doesn't like me, this person doesn't respect me, this person doesn't think that I'm worthy to be doing what I'm doing. And when I find myself in moments where I think I know something or have a deep belief, particularly when it comes to believing something about myself, I hear the voice of my meditation teacher challenging me with, well, who told you that? And then that was usually followed by or some other dismissive noise. Like, really, if you could imagine this ethereal being with crazy white hair, and you're in this moment of like, I'm telling my story and I'm all wrapped up, and this is just awful. And to have that moment where you look and she's sticking her tongue out at you. And this always would bring me back to that present moment and place emphasis on the awareness of who did tell me that. Did I make it up? Likely I made it up. Or did I integrate someone else's thought or comment as my truth? And not only that, I probably took that and repeated it out to others, right? To make them believe it as well. And implementing that practice of hearing her say that and seeing her adorable face with her tongue sticking out at me allows me to have the time to shift my perspective, to show up differently for myself or for someone else, and to be able to bring loving kindness and compassion into a situation where perhaps it wasn't there before. With this relationship, once I was able to get myself out of the way, I began to see someone who was in a lot of pain. Their heart was broken because of something that they had experienced. And so I was able to show up from that point on differently with that person. So pausing in this way, bringing ourselves in the present moment, and saying no to what we think we know allows us to rewrite the script. I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to believe this about myself anymore. I don't have to think this way. This also allows those rays of hope in and seeing the wonder in the world and the beauty that's all around us and in those around us. So what do we really know? What's really true? Do we really know who we are? And I don't mean who we are individually, but can we awaken to and lean into the truth of our being? Because there is only one truth, one being, one source. So I think we can. Jesus speaks to this several times in John chapter 15, verses 4-5. He says, "Abide in me as I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except abide in the vine, no more can you, except you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abide in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me you can do nothing." So essentially, without that awareness of oneness, of source love, our spiritual growth is stunted. We're cut off from our abundance. And again, Jesus speaks to this in John chapter 17, verse 21, that they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us. But the verse that states it most clearly and simply for me is John chapter 10, verse 30. I and my Father are one. And I don't think here that Jesus meant this for just the two of them, that this was some sort of inclusive club for just Jesus and God. But was more giving an example of the opportunity to awaken to that divine nature within ourselves, to recognize that we aren't separate, that we are the great I am, just as the great I am is us. And my meditation teacher also told a story of how when she was working with her master, he had a special chair. And no one touched the chair, right? That was the master's chair. No one sat in the chair, no one touched the chair. It was his and his alone. And she tells this beautiful story of how in the moment she came to the awareness of oneness, she sat in the chair. And people were like, "What are you doing? You're like, that is the master's chair. You don't sit in that chair." And her response is, "I am the master, and the master is me." Because we're not separate, we're one. And this thought also permeates through other religious systems and practices. The Bhagavad Gita states, "The wise see no difference between a learned and humble priest, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and an eater of dog flesh. Here itself they have conquered the world whose minds are established in same-sidedness. And since Brahman is stainless and homogeneous, therefore they are established in Brahman." Established in Brahman meaning established in God, established in source love, established in oneness. So maybe the answers don't lie in what we know. Maybe it is about us saying no to what we think we know, to be wise in our human experience, and awareness of the one ultimate truth, which is that there is only one. One love, one heartbeat, one energy coursing through us all. We have a body, we are not our bodies. It's an illusion of separation. Or as Holy River sings, "I am not myself, I am myself." And as hard as we work to generate separation through thoughts, judgments, words, and sometimes even action, the truth remains the same. To know this truth isn't an argument or a place of resistance or attachment. It is a state of being, a place of surrender, of presence, of overwhelming peace, where the blinders are removed, the senses are sharpened, and the heart is wide open. Now, how does that feel in your body? At this time, I would invite you to begin to close your eyes. Begin to feel your feet grounded into the floor, the support of the chair or the floor beneath you. And then that sensation that you felt in your body, perhaps it's peace, freedom, love. Begin to take this sensation and note where it starts in your body. And then begin to imagine as that sensation moves out through every cell of your being. And as you begin to come back into the room, if you so chose to leave, feeling your feet supported on the floor, feeling the edges of your body, bringing your mind back to that feeling of open-heartedness, of peace, and freedom, and being able to have this not only for yourself, but carrying it out into the world. I'll leave you with the words of both Alana Fairchild and an interpretation of Rumi, as well as Black Elk. You who help others are a worthy recipient of the help of the great beloved. Be prepared to surrender all plans and convictions about what you can and cannot be, about what you think you know and what you think you need. Allow the benevolent grace of the beloved to take you through the great waves as the seas become calm and serene under the living divine light. Peace comes within the souls of men when they realize their oneness with the universe, when they realize it really is everywhere. It is within each one of us.